Hey, what's up, everybody out there? Welcome back to another episode of Debategate here at the High Stakes Sports Debates Network, and I am joined by a fellow Buffalo State student, the staff writer for the Buffalo State Record, Mr. Tony Callens. Tony, how are you today, brother?
I'm good. How are you today?
Like I said in the last time we tried to record this, just not trying to get blown away out there, so let's hope this thing records. As you guys can see from the title below, and before we get into that, if you guys want to show some love to those thumbs and hit subscribe, for Christ's sake. Subscribe. So, show some love to those thumbs. Where should Zach Grienke sign? We'll also talk about a couple of other baseball things as we dive onto some tangents. But, Tony, I kick it off to you first, brother. Where do you think would be a great spot for Zach Grienke to sign that's not the Los Angeles Dodgers?
Well, apart from the Dodgers, okay. I think the Cubs are a good landing spot for Grienke because they need pitching help. They have the money to do so. They're in a win now mode now because they have some good young bats.
Right.
They just need some pitching depth. They have the money for it. They have probably already said that, but they're a big market. It's a great place for Grienke to go.
Right. No, I agree. Just looking at it on paper, you've got Lester. Well, I think at this point, I think it's a safe assumption that Arrieta is your one. And Lester's a solid two. I mean, he'll be streaky throughout the season, but come playoff time, I mean, we saw Lester in Game 2 against the Mets, Game 1. He was pretty solid out there, for the exception of a couple hits that just didn't go his way.
Get run support in that game. And, can you imagine having a rotation of Arrieta, Grienke, and Lester? That'd be phenomenal.
Disgusting. That's disgusting.
With the bats that they have?
Right.
Crazy.
I think the Cubs are a good spot. I also think the rival Giants are a good spot for Zach Grienke. Again, we talked about it. There's really nobody next to Grienke, like you said. Tim Hudson's a free agent. Tim Lincecum's a free agent, and we all know that Lincecum isn't what he used to be. I think his ERA, I think, was north of 4 at the end of this year.
It's gotten pretty bad for him. And I'm making a joke the last time we recorded this, but we're gonna make the same joke where They didn't win the World Series this year because it was an odd year.
It was an odd year.
And next year they're gonna win that thing. They're gonna sign Grienke, but it's a good spot for him to go to. It's interesting that it'd be a rival team, but as he has come out and said to the media that if the team gives him enough dollar signs,
right,
then he'll sign with. He said he would sign with the worst team.
Right, and when we think of dollar signs, instantly, and I don't know about you, it just Red Sox and Yankees just kind of jump to the forefront. And I don't think Greinke's going to go to the Red Sox or Yankees, but they're going to make a push. I mean, CC Sabathia had to check himself into an alcohol treatment facility. Yeah, not that he's providing you with much, good, solid pitching, but it's Luis Severino, it's half my UCL is gone, Masahiro Tanaka, and then it's like, who's on the Yankees right now?
Exactly. I mean, the Yankees are always going to be a player in these situations because they're the Yankees. The Red Sox, I think, would go more for a guy like David Price, that's been the rumor mill.
I would agree with you there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to cost as much as Zach Grienke, and I think that might be the reason why, although we know these Sox play Moneyball, so you never know.
Yeah, we'll see. I think Toronto is not really going to be a factor if we're staying with the AL East. I think they're going to go try to keep their man Price.
You think? I was just going to ask you, do you think they keep Price?
I think they can keep Price. I still highly read into that rumor of maybe going to the Red Sox. I think it would be a good fit for him.
Right. I think he's going to leave I think he's going to leave Toronto as well.
We were talking about that Canada factor.
Exactly, and I think that's a great point. He might want to come back stateside. Plus, I think he's looking to cash out now. I'm not sure what Toronto can offer him. I think Toronto's going to make a play. My problem is if Toronto doesn't make a play, we talked about it, their pitching options are anemic. I mean, should R.A. Dickey even be employed by Major League Baseball other than a broadcaster at this point?
He's gotten so old. Oh,
Right.
and
Yes.
I mean they have a good young talent in Marcus Stroman,
Right.
who could be a very good pitcher in the
But
future.
that's it.
But
I mean,
that's
that's
about it.
it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it.
Marco Estrada was solid. He could be a solid number 3 in a rotation.
Right.
But
This team doesn't have any ones, and that's the issue. But going back to Zach Grienke, I think another good fit for him, whether he signs there or not, remains to be seen. I think the Houston Astros could be a really good fit for Zach Grienke, a team that is ready and built to win right now. This team when they played the Royals, that series went to 5 games, right?
Yeah, they have a lot of good talent, but the thing is, I don't know if they can play hardball amongst the likes of the Giants. The Giants of the league. I don't mean the Giants, the team. I just don't know if they can go dollar for dollar with some of these teams with somebody like Grienke, who has said he will take the highest bidder.
And that's the problem that you run into with the Los Angeles Dodgers, is that they are willing to open the wallets. This team has had the highest payroll in baseball for a couple years now. They have no problem paying the luxury tax. They are the New York Yankees of the National League now.
Yeah, and it kind of goes into that debate of do you save your money and you try to develop prospects, or do you throw as much money as you can? And so far and lately, it seems like developing players strategy has really worked.
Right.
Somebody that we haven't been talking about, who might be a real good guy of free agency for these teams, Johnny Cueto.
Very good point. I mean, we saw what he did in Game 2 against the Mets. Let's face it, if the Mets, if Familia can close out the first inning and the last inning of Game 1, and I think it was Game 4 where the bullpen also blew it, if Johnny Cueto blows Game 2, there's a chance the Mets win that series. I got to tip my cap. I think that's a great point you make. I got to tip my cap to Johnny Cueto for the way he played, and I don't think the Royals are going to keep him now that they got that all-elusive World Series.
It was night and day from just a couple of years ago when he was with the Reds and the Pirates. Just this guy was dropping the ball while he was trying to handle it to get ready for his pitch, and then you saw how he pitched in the World Series. So he's a very hot commodity. Grienke is obviously going to be the prize of the bunch, but there's a lot of good free agents out there this year.
A lot of good free agents, and we'll see. You never know. The Nationals might make a play, even though they've got a lot of money tied into Max Scherzer.
Yeah, they might lose a Jordan Zimmerman, so they'll make a play for a guy like that.
Again, they also have Lucas Giolito on their farm, who's considered the best prospect in baseball. And go back to your point real quick about the prospects. That was a great point. The Los Angeles Dodgers have pitching sensation Julio Urias in their farm system, as well as a guy that not a lot of people may have heard about, and I implore you guys to go look this guy up, Jose De Leon. You got a guy who was basically in the Pacific League, which we know is a hitter's league in the minors leagues, and he had an ERA of, I want to say, over 3, over 4 when he was like 19, 20 years old. But with work on his mechanics, this dude has been pretty filthy. I think he's been in the top 10 in terms of Pacific League strikeouts, and he had a sub-2 ERA. So another guy that the Dodgers have in the farm system. Doesn't mean they won't sign Grienke, but at least they have some options if they don't win the bidding war.
Well, that's a really good point there, because that could easily factor in to that decision making right there. But the one thing for the Dodgers is they're sort of, apart from that, they're kind of getting old, and their window of opportunity is really. You could probably talk to Dodgers fans. I know one that lives in Los Angeles. That it just this window is closing, and they're just been disappointed in themselves. And they need to do something to kind of shake that up. And we were talking about this earlier about Don Mattingly not being the manager anymore. And does that factor in?
I think it does. A lot of people have been calling for Mattingly's head out in L.A., and they've got what they wanted. So that'll be interesting to watch going forward. So, there's a lot of good teams right now that Grienke can go to. Again, this Major League Baseball offseason is really going to be interesting. I can't wait for it. Any closing remarks, Mr. Callens?
Just that it's going to be a really exciting offseason, and this is the first year in a long time. I'm just super stoked about baseball.
I'm super stoked too.
You
And
know,
just for the listeners out there, both Mr. Callens and I are in a 12-man dynasty fantasy baseball league, so our minds are kind of in this all the time. Heck, I look at the top 100 prospects list once a week, and I read up on these guys.
I do that every once in a while too.
So, thank you guys for watching this episode of Debategate here at the High Stakes Sports Debates Network. Thank you for joining us. And again, before we sign off, just show some love to those thumbs up or down if you liked or disliked the content. And please go ahead and subscribe for more videos. Next Debategate episode, just to give you guys a taste, should the Lakers fire Byron Scott? I'll be debating that with the editor of Rebel Media, Lars Lewis. So, for Tony Callens, I was your host, Tom Jude. Thank you guys for stopping by, and we'll see you here next time. High Stakes Sports Debates.